Pretty serious engine damage. I don't like Ford anymore. That's so stupid.
My first casualty.
Oh no. Come on, Ford, what are you doing? How stupid is that? What's going on, guys? Now, as you can see, we've got a lot of cars on the driveway today. We've just done a wheel bearing on Ash's ST. My ST's got the back end up in the air because I'm doing some work on that, which you'll see shortly, but that's not the purpose of today's video. Today, we're working on the MK7. As you'll have seen in the last video we filmed on this car, it's got some pretty serious engine damage. We checked for air, fuel, spark. We also did a compression test and a leak down test, and we found out that we've got a serious leak from the cylinders to the cooling system and also between the cylinders as well. So it's clear that it's going to take a lot of work to get this engine running again. If you'd have been following me on Instagram, you'll have seen that we're doing something pretty drastic with this. So we discussed at the end of the last video that there's a few things it could be. I was hoping that it might just be the head gasket that we need doing, but it could also be that the head is actually damaged. We could have some damage to the cylinder walls, and there's a lot of other things that could also be damaged. And if I was going to dive into it and start tearing this engine apart, there's also a lot of quite expensive tools that I'd need. But before I tell you exactly what we're going to do, I want you to dive down in the comments, pause this video, go and comment on what you would do if you were in this situation. And while you're down there, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But before we do anything, the front end's already pretty much off, so let's get this out of the way. See, look how much access we've now got to this engine bay. If you haven't guessed it already, this engine's coming out. Now, once the engine's out, I've still got a couple of options. I could either get this engine rebuilt or just replace it with a new one or reconditioned one. I've had a look at prices between just buying another engine to put in this and getting this one rebuilt, and they're kind of similar, so there's not really too much trade-off in terms of that. But what I am thinking is this is the black edition, so it's got the 140 horsepower version of this engine. Now, I'm led to believe that is just the map and possibly the ratios in the gearbox. I'm not entirely sure if there's anything else, but still 140 brake engines specifically go for a bit more than the 125s when you buy them second hand. So I'm kind of leaning towards rebuilding this one just so that I've got the original engine that it came with, just completely refreshed with new internals. Now, before we could pull the engine, there was a lot of other things that need to be removed or at least disconnected. So we moved the bonnet so we had a bit better access. Next, we got the front end of the car up on jack stands so we had access to the drive shafts and so I could drain the gearbox and engine oil.
Right, okay, so Mike is currently looking for a tub because he's going to drain the engine oil, because we figured if we're going to take the engine out, chances are we might drop it. So we're going to drain the engine oil. But obviously when the engine comes out, the gearbox is going to come out with it. So while he's doing that, I'm thinking about how we're going to get the drive shafts out of the gearbox. So I'm going to take off both wheels either side, hit the track rod end and the bottom ball joint with some WD-40 so that we can get them out nice and easy. And then hopefully by the time Mike's found a tub for the oil, the drive shafts will be out. That's the plan. Right, okay, and the time that it's taken Mike to find a tub to do his drop-in of the oil, I've managed to get both the wheels off. I've hit the track rod with WD-40, the lower ball joint with WD-40 as well. Track rod is an 18. Lower ball joint just here, the head of the bolt is a 13, the nut on the back is a 15. If it's anything like our STs, we should be able to get away with just taking the nut off.
I can't do any work because he's hiding all the tools. It's not because I'm being slow. I need that. Thank you very much.
Anyway, if I can get the nut off the back of here, the lower ball joint and the hub's not threaded, so we should just be able to knock that bolt through. Easy peasy.
Right, so while Ash is mucking about with the wheels and taking ages about doing it, I'm literally going to have this oil drained in about 3 seconds. Easy.
Right, there we go. There is the 18 off. We'll separate the track rod from the hub in just a second. Now, onto the lower.
Okay, so engine oil's drained. Ash has got the lower arms free from the hub, so ball joints are out, track rod ends are out. Ready to pull the drive shafts out of the gearbox. I don't want to do that just yet because I want to drain the gearbox of oil. Now, I've just had to ask on the MK7 Facebook pages to find out whereabouts the oil drain on the gearbox is, because I don't want another saga like on the Fiestas where you can't drain the gearbox oil through the detent plug. You definitely can, but I don't even know where that is on this. There's a little plastic cover, same as there is on the IB5 on the ST. Not sure if this is an IB5. It looks like a similar transmission, but I'm not sure. So I don't just want to go pulling stuff off. There is a big bolt here, which I think it'll drain through, but once I found that out, we'll do that. For the time being, we're going to crack on. We're going to remove the exhaust and we're going to check for coolant lines and any electrics that are connecting the engine to the rest of the car. Okay, so we've got quite a lot of the engine bay stripped in terms of like the electrics and coolant lines. So I've removed the coolant lines here that run back through the firewall into the cabin, so like to the heater matrix, things like that. Ash has got pretty much all the wiring off the top. There's loads of sensors and plugs and all sorts of stuff, like coil packs and all that sort of stuff. It all seems to be on this one loom that just goes up there. But there is one big fat cable or bunch of cables that runs down this trunk in here, and that goes down to the alternator. So Ash is just undoing that main plug from the alternator, and then we should be able to pull that away. There was one other little bit of wiring, and that is for the injectors, but luckily, you know what, Ford, I'll give you this one. They've just stuck a plug right there, so it's easy to remove. So cheers, Ford. This one is a lot better than when I did the stupid alternator on my ST. That was a nightmare. This is way better, but let's carry on, see what else we can get off. You know what? I take it back. I don't like Ford anymore. They've done one thing good, and now they've done something stupid. So there's this little connector here, which I believe was the crankshaft position sensor, which plugs in just there, right? And it's attached to this whole loom for the alternator. So we just need to undo that and wiggle it around behind the AC compressor just to get that loom out. But that plug doesn't fit behind there. So we've got to loosen the AC compressor mounting bolt slightly, pull the AC compressor forward a little bit just to wiggle that out. Like, why? Why would you do it like that? That's so stupid. Also, another stupid thing I've seen, the tensioner for the belt on that accessory system is a rusty, tiny little Torx bit. Why not put a decent bolt on there? You just know that's going to round if we ever loosen it. Like, my God, come on, Ford, what are you doing? Another thing, which I'm going to move on to next, is that I believe this is a high pressure fuel pump. So nice and easy, fit in there, that can come off, fit in there, that can come off. I'm guessing that's just a mounting bolt on the other side. Connectors off there, but this is the line that runs, I'm assuming, to the fuel tank, or, you know, wherever that goes. And that's just on there, like there's no way of removing that, and that's the bit we need to get off to get the engine out. Like, how stupid is that? Why? I hope these are just mounting bolts. Oh no, there's something in there. Looks like a thermostat. What the hell? What is this? Is it loosening? What happened?
Oh no.
What? Oh, sh**.
Oh no. My first casualty.
Oh no. Do you know what that goes into?
The block.
By sump, yeah. Oh God. It literally bolts in there. Oh, oh well. It's off now.
Well, this isn't any looser either, which is...
So we've got an unnecessary casualty, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I loosened this for no reason because
These ones are fine.
this was pointless. Right. We're still on the quest to get this stupid connector out of here. We've loosened the accessory belt off the AC compressor, and we're basically just prying it to try and get it.
There we go.
Oh, is it out? Right, there we go. Believe it or not, we're actually undoing the exhaust. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. This is an odd place to be undoing the exhaust. We've got an extension bar about that long because, once again, Ford decided to do something really, really clever. The studs on the exhaust come from the bottom up, so the nut is on the top. How are you supposed to get any sort of tool in there to undo that? When have you ever seen an exhaust where you undo the nut from the top? Oh, gee. Let's just get it off. I'm fed up of this stupid car. I wish I had just got rid of it when that spider was in it. Right, I've got the one off.
Oh shit, spider.
Oh, is that spider? Is it a big one?
No, it wasn't even a spider, it was grass.
Well, that grass definitely didn't make all these webs in the front here. Right, okay, so we finally got those bits of the exhaust off, and as you can see, Ash has just removed the gearbox mount, like the lower gearbox mount, torque mount kind of thing, that you've seen me do a video on my ST recently. Yeah, anyway, he's taken that off, so now the engine actually rocks. It's just held on by, there'll be a mount underneath the battery tray, and there's the other engine mount that side. So next, what do we need to do next, Ash? Oh, we need to do the
linkages, and I'm getting really bored now. Like, I thought this was going to be a proper quick, well, not a quick job, but like loosen everything, take it out. But
well, have you got some roads to tarmac, have you?
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it? Right, Mike's back inside faffing again. Shock. He's left me with strict instructions that the gearbox needs to be drained by the time he gets back. Now, he's asked on the Mark 7 page about how to do it, and he hasn't had any replies. Now, we've got to take the drive shafts out anyway, but we've had our eye on this just here. Now, I know on the Mark 6 page there's all the talk about the detent over the drive shafts and the drive shafts over the detent. Me and Mike both use the detent, never had any problems. Now, Mike has given me permission to take this out, so we're going to take this out and we're going to see how we get on. Hopefully we don't break the gearbox, but I think he's left me to do it so that if it does go wrong, he can put it down on me and it'll be my fault. So let's take it off, let's see how it goes.
Hey!
Oh, the detent.
What is a detent? Someone let us know in the comments. I don't want to know that you shouldn't take it out. I don't care. Someone let us know in the comments what the hell a detent plug or detent bolt is. I know detent, the word means like keeping something pressed, but what is it keeping pressed? What the hell is it? Just let us know. Thanks.
Right, this one. Jesus Christ.
One shaft hanging right in your face. Right, well, the workforce are on their 10th break of the day, but to be fair, I'm only joking. To be fair, he's earned it because we think...
Proper doer.
Hey?
Proper doer.
Proper doer. Well, he's not out yet, mate, but the engine is... Oh, okay, that swung a lot more than I was expecting. But yeah, we're pretty much there. The drive shafts are both, I don't know if you can see, the drive shafts are both out. We've got pretty much everything disconnected, I think. I've been through most of what we disconnected earlier. We're just having a last look round, see if there's anything else that's kind of, you know, attaching the engine to like the firewall, you know, like any electricals or any lines, coolant lines, vacuum lines, anything like that that goes through into the cabin. Other than that, I think we're pretty much there. So we're just gonna, like I say, do one final check, and then we're gonna see if between the pair of us we can just lift this thing out. Yeah, do you reckon?
Well, not a chance.
Nah, come on, we've got this. Right, okay, so we remembered that there was still that high pressure fuel pump thing. What we've done is we've just taken the top off like I did before, wrapped it in a bag, and then wrapped the top of that in a bag just so no dirt gets in there and nothing can sort of leak out. Like I say, don't really know what it is, what it does. I think it's some sort of high pressure fuel pump, but that is sorted as far as I'm concerned for now. Right, the last thing we think that is connecting this whole package at the front, so the engine, gearbox, whatever, to the rest of the car is the clutch line. So there's just a retaining clip. Oh yeah, great. Right, well, here we go. Let's see if we can lift this engine out. No, I haven't gone and bought an engine crane. I am borrowing this. I don't just go out and buy absolutely everything. Oh, normally I do, don't I? But no, borrowing an engine crane, so we've got to get this out this weekend pretty much. We manoeuvred the engine crane into position ready to attach the chains to the top of the engine. We're trying to use some wooden boards that I had lying around to give us a nice flat surface to wheel the engine crane across, because as you can see my driveway is gravel, so it was going to be a nightmare to drag this thing around. The boards didn't really work, but we didn't exactly have any other option. We attached the chains to the lugs on the top of the engine, and then we raised the crane slightly just to take the weight of the engine off the engine mounts so that we could be sure the engine was supported when we undid them. Found some more brilliant Ford engineering, so we're trying to undo the gearbox mount. There's one there which is nice and easy, but that one you can't get anything on it because of this stupid tray that's in the way. So once again, well done Ford.
cords are a pain in the arse. Where does the start motor fall from?
Just in case you guys can't hear us, we forgot one thing, starter motor. So we're just gonna whip that off and then we'll whip the engine out. Unfortunately, we forgot one thing, and that was the starter motor. So I'm just undoing the nuts that hold the wiring harness to the starter motor, and then hopefully then we're out. Okay guys, so the engine is out. Now it started to go dark, so we had to move pretty quickly to get everything tidied up with what little daylight we had left. So just to show you what we've got at the minute, so we've currently got the engine supported by some tires. As you can see there, those two are just there to stop it falling over. What I've done up to this point is just kind of stuffed everything as close into the car as I can, and we're due to have some really bad weather over the next few days. So what I've done is I kind of tried to gather everything and just stuck it as close to the car as possible. And I've got a big tarp there, we've got a tarp over the top as well, because I don't want water running down and underneath here to all the electrics and everything that are exposed underneath the bonnet. And I also obviously don't want water getting all over the engine, gearbox and all that sort of stuff. So I've kind of just piled it all up there while I decide what I'm gonna do with it. One thing we have done off camera is we went ahead and disconnected the gearbox. It's just kind of sat next to it for the time being. There's not really an awful lot to show you there. It's kind of just a few bell housing bolts around the outside, you know, either side, and then I think there was one bolt which connects the starter motor, and that kind of holds the gearbox on as well, so that had to come off. But other than that, that was pretty simple. We just pulled that off. Not really a lot to show you there. Now, I'm not even sure if you can actually see me right now, because like I said, it has gone dark, and at this point daylight savings time's kicked in, so we're even worse off than we would have been before. But nevertheless, I feel like we've done a lot in this video, and I'm really happy with the progress we're making on getting this Mark 7 back on the road. And speaking of which, I've still got to decide whether I'm going to get this engine rebuilt or whether I'm just going to replace it. I'm leaning towards a rebuild, like I said at the start of the video, just because I want to keep this original engine. So if there's anyone out there that could possibly help me with the rebuild, or, you know, kind of have me there while they do it, if there's anyone that can do that sort of stuff, then please get in touch, because the reason I'm leaning towards a rebuild is because it's just more content for you guys, and I'd love to get involved in the process of actually rebuilding an engine. So either, like I said, contact me in the comments, or even better, hit me up on Instagram and let me know if you could help out with this. But for this video, it is time to end. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.